Coming at you from the AO Studios, it's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Coming at you live from the AO Studio.
AO.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. We've got a great show for you tonight. We've got an NBA trade. The Jets lose, Paper Planes lose, and two all-time greats pass away. But we'll begin today's show with the MLB postseason. The Braves and the Mets punched their tickets to the postseason yesterday, splitting a doubleheader for makeup games that were rained out during the regular season. The first game was exciting, watching the Mets and Braves exchange blows in the final innings. After the game, it sounded like the Mets won the World Series with the jubilation, the congratulations, and player personnel and the scouting department. It took all of us. None of you were traded at the deadline. Everybody counted us out. And oh my God, we're in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs. It's the playoffs. The playoffs. The playoffs. So, Z, did the celebrating seem over the top to you, or did it just seem just right?
When you were 11 games under 500 on Memorial Day and people were writing you off, you have every right to stick it down people's throat. You have every right to celebrate. Abso-fucking-lutely. Especially with the drama and the tension and the agita that you put your fans and yourselves through. You had it in the bag. It was yours to control coming out of Philly. You beat Philly. You won the series. You won the series with Philly. All you have to do is win 2 fucking games. All you had to do was win 2. That's it, 2. You freaking gagged it up in Atlanta in game 1. Yes, the rains came forcing this situation with the Brewers. You lost 2 games against them. You won the last one, forcing this situation. So you had to show some pride. You showed some pride in that game. You know, it was quizzical that McGill got that start, but you'll take it. He did well enough. They were in position. Swellenbach was doing what Swellenbach does to the Mets. He was befuddling them through 7. He had never gone 8 before. That's a little Grady Little Pedro Martinez type situation. Like, you stick with a guy a little too long. And then the Tyrone Taylor 11-pitch at bat. Lindor, Iglesias, Nimmo. And then fucking Diaz gives it right back. Like, as a Met fan, you cannot be confident in him. Now, yes, he threw 40 pitches yesterday. He threw 26 the day before. He didn't pitch today. Mets won. Beat the Brewers in game 1. They finally won a game against the Brewers. Nice job.
They were just there.
Right. So, it's about fucking time. It's about time.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. You win, you get the right to celebrate. Absolutely. And the Braves celebrated too. Because they won in game 2. They punched their ticket. You get the right to celebrate. There are several teams who would rather be in your position. One being the Diamondbacks, who won the thing I like to call the National League pennant last year. You don't think they'd like to be in either the Mets or the Braves position right now? I guarantee they would. I absolutely, if the shoe was on the other foot, the Diamondbacks would love to do it. Would love to be in there. So, you get the right to celebrate. Pop the champagne. Do what you want to do. That's it, and that's all. You've earned the right. Now, the job is not done. That's phase 1. That's phase 1. You knock off the Phillies, you knock off the Brewers, you get the Phillies. That's a tough one. Somehow knock off the Phillies, you got most likely the Dodgers. Or the Padres. Or the Braves. Any one of those teams gives you fucking nightmares. So, from a Mets perspective, this road is not easy. Oh, and at the end of it, if you somehow do make it to the World Series, you may be staring down the Yankees Maybe. Possibly. Who's to say? Or, the Royals just beat the Orioles today. You could be staring at a 2015 rematch. If both teams somehow survive this gauntlet and make it to the World Series, you could have a 2015 rematch. But this is the nature of the playoffs. You get hot, you get in, and things happen. Did you have the Tigers knocking off the Astros today? I didn't. The Astros should steamroll the Tigers. But Tarek Skubal is better than Framber Valdez right now. So they're hot. They did what they needed to do to get it. So did the Mets. So pop the champagne, have a good time, blow off some steam. You're 0-0, and now you're 1-0. So keep on trucking.
I mean, my whole thing is I don't have a problem with you celebrating. You should celebrate. Yeah. It was a great game. You made it to the postseason. That's what everybody's working for. But it was the jubilation. It was the everybody counted us out and nobody gave us a chance. And we were going to be sellers at the deadline and we didn't sell and we kept everybody. Now listen, I didn't hear what the Braves were saying. I don't know, but they limped into the playoffs, so I don't even think they belong there. But it was just hearing that and saying, Carlos, he's such a positive guy. He's so positive in the locker room. It's just like, guys, you just made the playoffs. We just got here. Like, that's the shit you say when you win the World Series. Not when you make the playoffs. You have a top 5 payroll. You should be making the fucking playoffs. You should have walked into play. In fact, you should have had this celebration on Saturday or Sunday, not on Monday. They were the hot team. They were the better team. And I just think it was horseshit. I don't want to hear that. You should have expected to win that game. You should have expected to beat Atlanta. They're a division opponent. You're better than them. I don't care if you were playing that game in Atlanta. You were up. You came back. Then you gave it away. And then you got it back again. It was a shit show. That's what happens when you have two garbage teams playing each other. A closer who can't close, a team who's at home with the playoffs on the line that can't keep a lead. That's garbage. Garbage. Straight up garbage. So, no. Act like you were supposed to make the playoffs. Act like you're supposed to go to Milwaukee and beat the Brewers. And act like you belong there. Don't celebrate and say, oh, poor me. We're the miracle Mets of 2024. I can't believe this is happening to us with our payroll and Pete Alonso and Lindor and our owner. I can't believe. Could you believe? I can't believe. Can you believe? I can't believe it. OMG Mets. OMG. No. The Brewers are another bummy ass team, but and we were just talking about this in the production meeting. Their reward for being the 3rd seed is you get to play a Met team that just came off a hot win in Atlanta. Congratulations. Now this team comes in on fire. Whether they chose it was arbitrated or whatever, I'm sure that, there's some to blame there. But the truth of the matter is the Brewers haven't played a game in 2 days. They're coming off a team that was hot, beat a division rival to get in, and the whole, oh my God, this is happening. I can't believe it. And now they knock off the Brewers in game 1. It's just garbage. It's garbage. I don't want to hear it. I want confidence. I want you to act like you belong here. You're a professional baseball team. We made the playoffs. Job's not finished. Job's not finished. That's what the conversation should have been in the locker room for the Mets. Job's not finished. Job's not finished. We'll celebrate at the end. At the end, we have these conversations of I can't believe it. No one doubted us. Everyone was against. No. You just made the playoffs. Let's get this started.
Again, you have every right to celebrate. Absolutely. Especially since you were the statistical best team in baseball since Memorial Day. Record-wise, they were the best record since fucking Memorial Day. So, this bit of a hiccup, you can tell that it was weighing on them. You can tell the history of the Met franchise going into Atlanta when their
People
expectations.
were fucking crying. Lindor was crying. What the fuck are you crying about? What the fuck are you crying about? You were brought here to do this, where you're crying because you don't get pat on the back for what you're supposed to fucking do. You're supposed to come up in the 8th inning and come up in the 9th inning clutch. That's what they're paying you for. Act like it. Act like a superstar. Act like the best player in this fucking team that almost won the MVP award. He might still win. Who knows? That didn't look like that. That's not what that looked like. And everyone's looking at you and you're crying? What are you crying for?
So yeah, he's crying. Brandon Nimmo is hugging him. And in that moment, Met fans galvanized around their guy. Lindor is their guy. He is by far.
And that's the problem with the Met fan. Is that you are happy over mediocrity. You're happy.
89 wins is not mediocrity. Duh, let's cut this horse shit right now.
But the
89 wins is not mediocrity. That's where you're wrong.
You don't think they should have played better this season?
Yeah, absolutely.
Given what the National League East was, they shouldn't have been better this season. Should the season have come down to a rained out doubleheader on Monday night against the Braves?
No. And guess
that's
but here's the thing.
All I'm trying to say. That's all
From
I'm
the
trying
other
to say.
perspective, would you rather be the Diamondbacks who are sitting there with their thumb up their ass, hoping and praying?
No, of course not. And that's on them. And that's a great comparison. You're comparing yourselves to the Diamondbacks. The fucking Diamondbacks. They don't belong in the playoffs. They don't belong there. The Mets are a better team than the Diamondbacks. Are the Mets a better team than the Diamondbacks?
They're in, so yeah. But
you're a better team.
But here's the thing.
And that's what it came down to. But that's what it came down to on Monday night.
But here's the
thing. That's what it came down to.
This is the thing. The Diamondbacks, with the exception of Jordan Montgomery, they pretty much brought back their entire team. They added Eugenio Suarez and they brought in Jordan Montgomery, which the owner's on record saying is a really bad fucking decision. So good for you. But that team, with the majority of its players, were in a thing we like to call the World Series last year. So
did they belong there?
They made it. It doesn't matter if they belong there. They got there. You got there.
But that's not.
Did the 2003 Florida Marlins deserve to be there? They got there.
Absolutely.
They got there.
Oh, absolutely. No. The 2003 Florida Marlins belong in the World Series.
The 2003 Chicago Cubs were supposed to be there.
Josh Beckett and company played their asses off, and yeah, they did belong there. Yeah. Oh, I'll go to bat for the 2003 Florida Marlins, who beat the Yankees in 6 games in Yankee Stadium, which was one of the best things I ever witnessed in my life.
And the Arizona Diamondbacks knocked off the anointed Los Angeles Dodgers last year.
Yeah, which is garbage.
Well, it's not garbage, because it happened. You can't just... Anything you don't like isn't garbage. I'm sorry. Come on now.
It's not that
That's why they play the game.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's that the Dodgers were a far better team, but because of seeding, they had to play the Diamondbacks, which they shouldn't have had to play the Diamondbacks in a 5-game series. Like, what the fuck?
The Braves and Phillies have played 2 playoff series in a row.
I was upset about that too. Why are we playing the Phillies in a 5 games? How is that fair? Oh, congratulations for having one of the best records in Major League Baseball this year. Now you're going to play the hot team Philadelphia Phillies in a 5-game series. And you guys just played 2 weeks ago. Fuck off, Rob Manfred. Thanks a lot. Like, what did you think it was going to happen? I could have told you. I told you on the show it was going to happen. The Phillies are going to beat us.
So when the Dodgers, when the Phillies, when the Yankees, and when the Guardians get knocked off, are we changing the playoff format? Are we adding another team? Because you're not taking them out. Are you adding an 8th team?
I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen, but I totally don't agree with this. Come on, Z, let's be real. If the Orioles win and they face the Yankees, who's winning that series?
The Yankees should win. They should.
Because they should. Win.
No.
It's a 5.
You know, by that rationale, the Atlanta Braves should have beaten the Philadelphia Phillies last year, and they did. And they should have, right? They should have beaten the Philadelphia Phillies. So
no, we couldn't beat them because they were the hot team. We beat their ass all year. at some point in a 5-game series, what chance do we have?
And this is, but
it's a familiar opponent. How could we possibly beat them? Come on.
But this is why this playoff format doesn't work in Major League Baseball.
Yes, that's my whole point, Z. I'm not trying to pick on the Mets. I'm not trying to pick on the Braves. I'm not trying to pick on the Diamondbacks. I'm trying to say this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This is not fair it's not fair to the Brewers that they've got to play this team today. And maybe, I don't know, someone petitioned for it or whatever happened. But why? Now, granted, if yesterday was a 10-0 blowout, or it was a 5-4 game that, was decided upon in the 3rd or 4th inning, okay, yeah, that works. But after what happened yesterday, are you surprised the Mets went into the Brewers, who they played 5 days ago, and beat them? Are you surprised the outcome of the game this afternoon?
Absolutely.
You're surprised.
Here's why.
You're surprised the Mets beat the Brewers today.
And here's why. The Brewers do everything that frustrate the Mets. They play small ball. They run. They play great defense. The Mets finally got to the Brewer bullpen. They finally got to them. They played them, 6 times this year? In Game 7, they finally got to the bullpen. Pat Murphy took out Peralta in the second after 68 pitches. You think that was a quick hook? Oh, yeah, it was a quick fucking hook. You are it's a short series. It's the best 2 out of 3. So I understand why Murphy's doing it. I understand you're trying to preserve Peralta for a Game 3, but there is no tomorrow. If you lose tomorrow, you're out. So the Mets kryptonite tomorrow. The Brewers are the Mets kryptonite, which is funny because Stearns just came from Milwaukee, so they know exactly what the Brewers are going to do, and they can't fucking stop it. They can't hold runners on, but Brewers didn't try and run.
The Brewers will lose tomorrow, but we got to move on. We got a lot to get to today.
Hey there, NFL football fans. This is the lovely Rita Sanchez, aka your option football champ for the 2023 NFL season. I'm inviting you to join us for the 2024 option, where we pick the winning teams for each week's matchups and compete against each other to see whose picks reign supreme. Are you in? Head over to CBS Sports and search for the Option 2024 League, or hit the link in the bio on the Fade Route socials and join today. It's for free. Pick a witty name, some winning teams, and I'll see you out there for week 1.
So there was a blockbuster NBA trade over the weekend as teams settle into training camp. The New York Knicks traded Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and a first-round pick for Karl-Anthony Towns. Most Knicks fans were excited for the upcoming season with the team they had, but now they get Towns, but they lose 2 core players. So was this trade a net gain for the New York Knicks, or how do you see it?
They lost Hartenstein. Mitchell Robinson is hurt. You need a big. And you get one of the premier stretch 4s in the game. And it only cost you a guy in Julius Randle that people have been hemming and hawing about. Do you want him on this team? Does he want to be here? Oh, fuck him. I don't want him. Oh, I love Julius. I can't. Pick a side. Do you like the guy or not? When he's in, he's very productive. When he's in, he's physical. But you know what? You can replace that with Marcus Morris. He's physical. He's tough. And then you just added a guy who's averaging 23 and 11. Can I interest you in that? I'm for that. And yeah, DiVincenzo is a glue guy. You got to figure that Jalen Brunson signed off on this. You figure that you're presented, if you're Leon Rose, you present that to your captain. You're saying, I have the opportunity to trade for Karl-Anthony Towns. And he's going to say no? I don't think so. I don't think so. And, they're still going to be boys. They're still going to be friends. It's a business decision at the end of the day. And he was probably, of the Nova Cats, he was probably the most expendable of the Nova Cats anyway. Look at a guy like Hart. You're not trading him. You just got Bridges, and you're not trading him. You're not trading your captain. Right? He's expendable. He's absolutely expendable. But you understand, he's a good glue guy. But you get the opportunity to get a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns. Yes, I know he has a reputation for being soft, but there's enough hardness on this team to make up for the softness of Karl-Anthony Towns. You just hope that this is what kind of allows you to compete with the upper echelon teams when they're healthy, like Philly and like Boston. Now, and it didn't cost you your own draft pick because it was via Detroit. So you still have your draft pick. Leon Rose, 2 thumbs up, buddy. 2 thumbs up. Excellent work.
2 thumbs. Way
2
up.
thumbs way up. Now, let's see what he can do in the bright lights in the big city. But you gotta like it. You have to like this trade. Especially since Julius Randle, solid Nick, no more than solid. It's like the Lindor trade to go back to the Mets. Oh my God, we gave up Jimenez and have Ahmed Rosario. Okay, you gave up Jimenez, who became an all-star. Ahmed Rosario has been to like 6 teams since then. So don't wring your hands. Don't wring your hands on that. You got to give to get. You have to give to get in this league. You have to give to get when you trade. It's not fantasy football. You have to give to get something. So you got the big fish. Now let's see if he can play in New York.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel bad for Julius Randle because I feel like he was the guy that came to the Knicks that made people want to come play with the Knicks.
Amari Stoudemire 2.0.
Yeah, he was. And you just feel bad because, you see what he sacrificed and how hard he played. And he's a dog, man. He's a dog. And this is a level of toughness that New York was attracted to. Karl-Anthony Towns is kind of what we talked about, right? We talked about how the Knicks need a big guy. You got rid of Hartenstein, so now what? Mitchell Robinson can't be that guy. And we already know what Julius Randle is. Plus, Julius Randle's been hurt. He's been hurt. I disagree with you. I think that I'm not a big Josh Hart guy. I actually think the new lineup, the new Knicks lineup, that's the soft point, right? You don't have a true 2 guard, right? Hart's good. He's a hustle player. He plays defense. He gets rebounds and stuff, but he's not a facilitator, right? And granted, you probably say Payne can do that off the bench. I'm sure he can, but I just like DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo's a champion. He can distribute the basketball. He can get to the basket when he needs to. He hits clutch threes at times. I like him as a player. But if you're telling me where would I rather have my hole be the big man or be the 2 guard, I'm going to say the 2 guard. I think Towns is great. Just a really quick scouting report I wrote down on him. He's a 3-level scorer, right? I mean, he can hit the 3, he can hit the intermediate shot, and he can get under the basket and score. I want him to act like a big man here in New York. I don't want him shooting threes. I don't want him to get in love with the 3-pointer. I want him to be a true big man here. And if he could do that, it's going to work out. He's going to be going bump to bump with Embiid. He's going to be playing against the Miami Heat. Good thing about Towns is he stays healthy. He's very rarely hurt. He is soft, but I don't know what level of toughness he really does. Is he really going to need here? He's a Tibbs guy. He's played for Tibbs before, so we know he knows what he's getting into. I think it's good. I think it's a net gain for them. You can see why Minnesota did this. The only thing I would say about Towns is he didn't win in Minnesota. So, and I would think some of those Minnesota teams were better than some of those Knicks teams. I mean, even this past season, that Minnesota team was loaded. And they couldn't win. And then you got to remember, he played with Jimmy Butler. He played with a lot of guys in Minnesota, and they didn't win. So, is it going to work here? Can it work here? We're going to find out.
We are going to find out. And there was just a little bit of news that just broke this afternoon. Marcus Morris actually decided to not rejoin the Knicks. He was waived, and he's not going to come back on a training camp deal. So you're losing a little bit of. You're losing a little bit of.
Wonder
grit.
why. That's
I'm
weird.
guessing.
I wonder what happened.
I'm
there.
guessing because he's not going to get that many minutes. Like you figure, he's behind. He's behind Cat. He's behind Precious Achua. He's probably your fourth option. You'd figure. I mean,
That's crazy.
If he's a small forward, Bridges is ahead of him. So, I mean, who knows? Injuries happen. Training camp hasn't started yet. He could be back. And as far as like the clutch shooting of Dante DiVincenzo, Landry Shamit's still there, and Landry Shamit can shoot. So they did bring him in on the cheap. I think that's a good move on their part, and we'll see what comes of it. But does this keep them at the 2 seed is the question. Like Boston.
I was actually just going to ask you the same question, and I don't have him as a 2 seed. I actually have him as a 3 seed. So I have him as a 3. I have him behind Boston. And I have him behind the 76ers.
I have huge question marks.
Do.
I have huge reservations about the Sixers. I absolutely do. Boston is Boston.
Because I guess you're assuming that OG is going to play on Paul George, or you think Bridges could take Paul George? I
think that Bridges can do it either way. Like you have two of the premier defensive players. They can really lock up Paul George, provided that they can play together.
And you have Milwaukee sliding?
I have Milwaukee probably 4 or 5.
They're going to be
4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Okay, so you have them now.
Cleveland's going to dip back. Indiana's going to dip back.
You think they're going to dip? Well, okay, you got people sliding.
I mean, Indiana's 7, so you really you can't dip much more than that. You out of the playoffs.
Well, they were 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
They were 6
or 7. So it's not that much of a dip, but it's a dip nonetheless. Okay. But I'm.
You still have them behind. Boston.
I still have the Knicks behind Boston, absolutely. Since the Boston Celtics now have the pelt on the wall.
Maybe 10 games instead of 14 games, or you still got them 10 games back.
I think it's closer than that. It's probably like 6 or 8. Because I don't know. Again, there you go again. The health of Porzingis.
Yep.
It all comes back to that. Now is Karl-Anthony Towns going to be the healthy big man if he has a healthy season?
100%.
Yeah,
definitely.
They're definitely within striking distance. So yeah, I gotta say I gotta keep them at 2. Like they definitely kept up with the Joneses on this one.
Oh, well, I'm glad that the deal was made early. We didn't wait for the trade deadline. This happened in training camp, and we're ready to go. You can't help but smile when you see a balloon. PopstarsBalloons.com offers spectacular balloon decor for all of life's events, specializing in custom balloon creations and installations for private events, corporate and school functions, photo shoots, brand events, and fundraisers. Led by certified balloon artists, the Popstars Balloon team shape balloons into custom works of art. Popstar Balloons provides full concept balloon design, build and installation services, as well as pre-assembled decor pieces available for pickup or delivery. Popstar Balloons is a woman-owned, small family business focused on providing professional balloon services using only high-quality, 100% biodegradable natural latex balloons made in the US and Italy. They consistently prioritize the safest use and handling of balloons in a sustainable and responsible manner. Popstars Balloons is located in Westchester County, New York, but likes to party at events throughout New York City, Connecticut, Long Island, and New Jersey. Popstars Balloons can also accommodate balloon decor services for destination events. No event too big, no event too small, and their custom personalization service is the perfect touch. They also offer a full line of event decor options like backdrop, prop rentals, tablescapes, dessert table setups, custom signs, and they always deliver with a smile. Whether you're looking for gift balloons, classic decor, or large-scale design for a big impact, Popstars Balloons will create the perfect decor for your theme, vibe, and space. So if you have an idea in mind or need inspiration, Popstars Balloons decor will be the cutting edge and spectacular. Visit popstarballoons.com to pop your next event. Moving on to the New York Jets, who played like paper planes this weekend. After 9 days off, the Jets managed just 9 points against Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. The Broncos were held to 60 yards passing, but Bo Nix was not sacked at all and managed to throw a touchdown pass. The offense, the Jet offense, had no touchdowns, 5 false starts, drop passes, fumbles, and questions on if Rodgers' cadence is too much for the Jets' offensive line to handle. Z, do the Jets have an offensive issue, a defensive issue, or a team issue?
I'm sorry, did they not bring in Morgan Moses and McGovern? Did they not bring in veteran offensive linemen?
I was told all this team needed was a quarterback. I was told all this team needed was a quarterback.
That's the dumbest fucking argument I've ever heard. And you know who made that argument? One head coach Curly, Robert fucking Saleh. Are you shitting me, dude? Are you shitting me? You're over there fucking rah-rahing on the sideline. Breece Hall is false starting again. And when he is getting the ball, what? He got a yard? He went 10 carries for 4 yards, dude. 10 carries for 4 in the slop. That is when the running backs make their money. That's when you should be making your fucking money. And instead, you're slipping. Is he wearing the wrong cleats? Like, does he need to be wearing a longer stud? And you know what? Braylon Allen wasn't much better. Braylon Allen 8 for 34. Like the running attack was non-existent. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, like they all looked they were on different pages. He was on the same page with Williams and Lazard sometimes. But then other times he looked fucking lost. You know, how many times do we need to see a close up of his eyes with that death stare? That wasn't a death stare. It was that I left Green Bay for this stare. All I had to do was fucking play nice, and I'd still be in Green Bay. So it was a total shit show. The play calling was wrong. 4th and 10 on the other side of their field. Why the fuck are you going for it? There's still a little over. There's like a minute 40 left in the game. Your vaunted defense can stop somebody. I think allegedly pin him fucking back. You have Thomas Morstead, who's a really good fucking punter. Pin them back. Instead, you go for it and you give them primo field position. And this is just the fourth quarter. I'm not done yet. Aaron Rodgers gets them into close enough position, but you're banking on Greg Zuerlein making a 50-yard field goal on a sloppy, wet surface. Are you out of your fucking mind? You had an opportunity.
It's his fault.
You had an opportunity to push the ball down the field to make it a more manageable field goal, and instead, you just lined them up. Like, you got this, Greg. I believe in you. I believe in that leg. Greg the leg. Oh, jeez. Greg should have said, my leg afterwards. Get off this team. But the Denver Broncos, they did enough. They murdered Aaron Rodgers behind the line of scrimmage. Like, he looked
5 sacks.
Ooh. And on that 4th and 10 play, blindside. Boom. Like, did not see it coming. Didn't see it friggin' coming. But, this game was won by the Denver defense. Yes, Bo Nix scored a touchdown, but the rain was in his head. Like, he's wiping himself. He's got the hand warmer one play. He doesn't have the hand warmer the next play. He walks 5 feet. He gets toweled off. Like, he was mentally beaten by rain. Rain had taken his toll. And somehow the Jets managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. But isn't that the case for this franchise? Isn't that what they do? And now they got to go to fucking England to play the goddamn Vikings and Sam Darnold, who's probably going to want revenge.
Sir Sam Darnold. It's going to be knighted after
Sir Samuel. Sir Samuel of Minneapolis.
So my whole thing is, I've talked to 2 different types of Jet fans.
Yeah, it's not that far apart.
I've talked to Jet fans that said that Saleh needs to go, and they're tired of the rah-rah, and they're tired of all the bad coaching decisions. And then I've had other fans tell me that, Rodgers got Greg in position to win the game. And that the problem isn't on the defense, the problem's the offense. It's Nathaniel Hackett. This is all his fault. I'm like, guys, what is everybody smoking? Like, what are we watching the same game? Is Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson just not that good? Are they not that good? Is that what it is? Do we think that they were better than they are? What do you think?
Somehow Zach Wilson made these guys look like fucking studs. But I don't understand.
Because
what did Zach Wilson do that Aaron Rodgers isn't doing with these guys?
I'm having a hard time understanding why Allen Lazard is leading the team in receiving yards and fucking targets. Who? Why? What's Garrett Wilson here for? If I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm like, yo, do not talk to the Jets about an extension. I'm out of here. Like, I am out of here. Like, I'm not sticking around. I had to deal with Zach Wilson. Now I'm dealing with this guy who doesn't throw me the ball. I'm good, guys. And then with Breece Hall, what's going on with him? Like, every time he falls backward, he doesn't fall forward. I haven't seen a running back play like that in a while. You're telling me he's played so bad that Breland Allen gets like the third down carries, and gets more touches? Is Breece Hall playing that bad, guys? Wasn't he like one of your first 2-round picks? Like, what?
We've seen this before in recent history with the Jets. He's become Le'Veon Bell. He's become
You think so?
Yeah. And I'm not saying he made a business decision. I'm saying that this guy gets contacted and he just goes down. Like, he's not fighting through it.
That's what happened.
That's what Le'Veon Bell did.
He cannot fight through any yards. yards. At least the Breece Hall that I've seen in the last 2 games gets hit and goes down either right where he is or goes backward. And the other kid is bigger and stronger and falls forward, but the whole premise of the Z is these are the guys that Joe Douglas drafted. These are the guys we're tooting our hats on, and they're not getting the ball, and you're losing. Like, guys, I don't want to hear about the Titans. All right, I don't want to hear about the Patriots. Those teams are garbage. You played a trashy Denver team that came into your place and slapped you. And now you're going to England to face Sam Darnold and the number 1 defense in the league. And Sam is fire right now. Fire. Like, I am so excited to see. And the thing is like, what are you going to do? You're not going to fire. And it's the same fucking rhetoric too. He blames everybody but himself. It's never that we played like shit today. It's always Aaron's probably got to change up the cadence. It's like, what? How about we have more accountability? That falls on the coaching staff. Okay? Right. Discipline is coaching. Aaron's been doing this cadence for fucking 15 years. And everybody else he's been on has loved it because it gives him the advantage he needs. And your team, led by, like you said, McGovern and Smith and Moses, can't handle it? Huh?
It's a joke.
In the rain? It's not like it's even loud. There was nobody there. And the people that were there weren't saying anything because they couldn't believe what the fuck they were watching.
Yeah, the answer is David Bakhtiari.
I got offered to go to that game, and I was like, hell no. I'm not going to sit in the rain and watch that trash.
I don't blame you.
Trash.
No, I don't blame you whatsoever. But, the answer is going to be, we'll just bring in some more Packers. We'll bring in Bakhtiari. We'll trade for Devontae Adams. Like, if I'm
at what point do you cut it? At what point do you say, you know what, man, this is just not like, and it has to give you a rotten feeling in your stomach when you look around at the league and you look at how well Sam's playing, how well Geno Smith is playing. He played a good game last night, even though they lost. Geno was in command. He was delivering the football. He was working the Detroit Lions, who have a good defense. It's got to make you sick that you are at square one. Like, you're stuck with Aaron Rodgers. There is nobody else. The backup in the team is
Tyrod Taylor.
Taylor. You don't even have Joe Flacco right now.
He's probably going to start for the next foreseeable future.
You don't have a draft pick where you could say, we'll take a quarterback next year or in 2 years. This is it, guys. This is the team that's supposed to win the Super Bowl. You look around at the league and you tell me, do you like the way that looks?
It goes back to the Zach Wilson pick. They were so wrong on Zach Wilson. And now they're paying for it because they overcorrected, because they overpaid for Aaron Rodgers because they believed that this team was close. I don't see what they see. Sauce Gardner looks ordinary. The defense isn't that good. Hassan Reddick would welcome a trade back to the Eagles, according to Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So good for him.
I love it.
Good for him.
Good for him.
And if the Jets can recoup their pick, we'll take the exact same pick that we sent you. Can you just give it back? We'll just pretend this never happened. But I'm sure they would like the John Franklin Myers trade back. He was in Rodgers' kitchen. The only guy who could fucking run.
He got a sack.
There. He got a sack. Yeah.
He got home.
You know how many sacks the Jets had? You know how many pressures they had? Ugats is what they had. They can't get to the quarterback.
Yeah. I don't understand it. You had 9 days. It looked like you just found out you were playing Denver the day before. Like you were like, really? You found out yesterday that you were playing Denver. Like, oh, what kind of offense they run? Oh, what kind of defense do they run? People running fucking free at Aaron Rodgers, like free. Like, and I really do believe that Aaron Rodgers has enough respect in the league that the players that ran free didn't give him a shot. They brought him down very nicely. They hugged him and brought him down. Because there was one where the guy came free, and I thought, oh my God, he's going to put his helmet into his spine and finish him. And he didn't. He jumped on his back, and he didn't even fall on him. He fell on the side and moved on. And he still got up limping.
And then he's fucking running. He's scrambling. You can't tell me that Nathaniel Hackett is
in the rain. Yeah. In the rain.
You can't tell me that those are design runs. If those are design runs, Nathaniel Hackett needs to pack his shit and get the fuck out now. He's 40 years old with a bad Achilles. There's no way in fucking hell.
I don't even know how that works. I don't even know how you could get rid of him. I don't know how you can get rid of anybody. They're so stuck. Nobody's getting fired. But you touched on something before. You were talking about Zach Wilson and how they were, it was a bad pick, bad trade, whatever. So the first 4 picks in the 2021 draft were Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Kyle Pitts. Is this the worst 4 picks is this the worst first 4 picks in the NFL draft of all time?
That's a good question. Because you figure there's a lot of mediocrity. And like in terms of that, like you think about 1992 when Entman and Koriak go 1 and 2 of the Colts, but then you get Sean Gilbert and Desmond Howard and Terrell Buckley. So that the top 5 is kind of rounding out. But you got to look at like 2013 was pretty bad. Like, I mean, Eric Fisher was okay. Luke Jokel, like, what are we doing here? Like, what is going on here? Like, these are the guys that you decided to go with at the top of the board. Like, it must have been a very, very, very thin pool. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins in a redo, he's probably going higher. He went 27th that year. So, but in terms of current production, it's got to be up here. Like, Kyle Pitts is fucking terrible. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he started off fine, but he's gone in the toilet. Trey Lance can't even get on the field. Trey Lance can't even dress. They have Cooper Rush dressed ahead of him. Cooper fucking Rush. This guy was supposed to be like a generational talent, supposed to be like the next Carson Wentz, mobile quarterback, the whole can't sniff the friggin' field. I mean, you are absolutely on record, about John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan with that one. So we don't need to say more about that. But yeah, this is pretty friggin' atrocious. This is pretty goddamn atrocious. But I mean, 92 is close. I mean, 1 and 2. 1 and 2 for 92 might might eclipse 3 and 4 regardless of how talented they were because they were just so bad. I think Steve Emtman played like 9 games, and he was the number 1 pick. Like 9.
So I actually didn't think 1992 was bad. I actually went back and I looked at the draft in 1936.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes, and the only reason why these guys were the worst first 4 picks is because 2 of the guys actually never even went to play professional football.
God.
So Jay Berwagner from the Philadelphia Eagles, he won the Heisman. He was the first winner of the Heisman Trophy Award in 1935. He was drafted, but he decided to go to the Olympics instead of play professional football. Right?
Okay.
Riley Smith was a quarterback from Alabama who played for the Boston Redskins. Bill Shakespeare
No fucking
was
way.
a Pitt. Yeah, Bill. Well, I don't think it's that.
No,
guy,
but like, come on,
Bill-
really? Your parents are setting that kid up.
His name was William Valentine Shakespeare. He played for Notre Dame. He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he decided to not play professional football and to go into business instead because professional football just didn't pay that much money. And then the Brooklyn Dodgers drafted a guy named Dick Crane, a fullback from Iowa, who had a successful career. So that's the last time, and it's because 2 of the guys wind up not playing professional football. So you wasted your draft pick on a guy that didn't even play.
That's insane.
But the situation is terrible, right? And when you think about it, the Trevor Lawrence thing, this guy can't win. This guy can't win a game.
No,
he cannot win a game. And I don't know what they're doing on offense. Like what? Travis Etienne, he's in, he's out. Tank Bigsby's getting the ball. Why is Tank Bigsby getting the ball? Why did you draft Travis Etienne if he's not going to get the ball? He was one of the top 5 rushers last year. Did he forget how to run the fucking football? Kyle Pitts, no targets, no yards. What the fuck, man? At this point, forget it. Get rid of him. This guy was a stud in college, a stud, and they're not even looking at him. They would rather throw the ball out of bounds than try to throw the ball to him. Last time we saw Trey Lance, he was throwing 6 picks in a fucking preseason game. And Zach Wilson, well,
yeah,
he's the king. that is the king, my man. And he actually walked away with a win on fucking Sunday.
I mean, what more can you say about this? You know, it's just the bar is so low with this draft that it's.
I guess the real question is how much. What's the leash for the Jaguars? The owner's gone on record saying this is the best team he's ever assembled. Okay, they are 0-4. I think 2 of those games were to division teams. They lost. And it's like, at what point are you cutting Peterson? Or at what point are you cutting him loose? At what point do you turn to Mac Jones? At what point, what? You've got to make a change. How much longer? They're 0-4. Is it going to take 0-5? Do they have to lose this weekend? Is it 0-6? Like, at what point you're like, this is not working? And they're kind of stuck, right, with Trevor because they just paid him. So he ain't going nowhere.
They're not kind of stuck with him. They are stuck with him.
And when you look at his numbers are the same as Daniel Jones. They have the same numbers. Same touchdowns, interceptions, yards, everything. It's the same. He's Daniel Jones.
I would entertain a Trevor Lawrence for Daniel Jones trade. I would entertain that. I would entertain that. Absolutely. But, you know, when does it end is the question. I'm not so sure that Mac Jones stays much longer. I mean, I get he's a Jacksonville kid.
You think he's going to get traded or something?
I think he would get dealt to the Dolphins. The Dolphins need a guy. Snoop Huntley's not that great. He did not have a good game. They need a guy who's going to kind of make that offense hum. And
he doesn't have the arms.
He doesn't, but you know what? You hit Tyreek Hill on a shallow cross and watch him run.
Yeah, you're going to watch him hit the linebacker on a shallow cross and watch him run the other way. That's just not it's not his strong point. If you're gonna get somebody, you got to get a thrower. Mac Jones ain't a thrower.
All right, then Trevor Lawrence.
I
mean, they're tied to him because of the contract, and Well, the Miami Dolphins are not going to double dip with the Tua money unless Tua retires and has that injury exception. So the
Joe Flacco would be perfect for that team, but it's not going to happen.
He's starting this week. Anthony Richardson's probably out there.
It's not.
Will Levis is available.
Perfect
you
guy.
want Will Levis? Mason Rudolph took that job.
I mean, should they call Ryan Tannehill? But he can't throw either. You need a guy that could throw. That offense requires a guy that could throw 30, 40-yard darts. Yeah. You can't. And I don't know what you do there.
I don't know who that guy is. But,
moving on
hang on. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he's stuck. Yeah, they're absolutely stuck with him. Doug Peterson probably has a couple weeks. And if you bench Trevor Lawrence on that salary, that's going to be like a major. That's going to be a major sticking point.
If you're the owner, you're saying a couple of weeks. So when do you pull the trigger?
I would say if
before or after London.
I would give it till my bye. So after London.
I think that's right
after London.
Right?
So if they shit the bed in London, you have a week, you fire Peterson, you transition to whoever, you have a week to transition. It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit smoother. So you can actually do both at the same time if you were so inclined. If Trevor Lawrence was so bad that you can say, hey, you need a breather, we're going to let Mac Jones take over. So I would say let's monitor the situation until after London, and then if need be, pull the plug, reset for a week, and then come out and go from there. Speaking of resetting, the Eagles seem to have reset since they really don't have any wideouts right now. A.J. Brown was out, Devontae Smith got hurt, and they got straight up blowed out by the Bucs, 33-16. So did the Eagles lose because they were missing their top two wideouts, or because there's something else going on with this team? Or do the Bucs just have their number?
Back. Yeah. Well, I think it goes to them that Jalen Hurts really hasn't been the same since he lost his offensive coordinator. Shane Steichen, I think his name was. And I think since he lost him, he hasn't been the same. I want to say that since he lost his coordinator, Hurts leads the league in turnovers, I believe. And he cannot get it going. He's loose with the football. He's not accurate. He hesitates when he runs. It's just not a pretty sight. And I don't know. And for all the weapons they have, I don't know if getting A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith back, if that's going to make this ship right. I think they need to change their philosophy. I think they need to become more of what the Ravens are doing. And it's, you went and paid for Saquon Barkley, run Saquon Barkley. And you're in a position where, your quarterback is healthy and he knows how to get down and he knows how to run out of bounds. So you can run the sweeps and you can run the RPOs. And then when they least expect it, you hit Devonta Smith going down the middle, or you hit A.J. Brown on a long pass. This is not a season where your two wide receivers are going to go for over 1,000 yards and have over 10 touchdowns. Sorry, guys. That's not how we're going to win football games. The way we're going to win football games is we're going to give the ball to Saquon Barkley, and we're going to pick our shots and pick our points when we're going to deliver the football downfield. That's it. And the defense is a joke. They're like tagging people as they run by them. It's like, oh, go. It's like, no, you got to tackle him. You have to wrap him up. You can't this isn't practice where you just touch him with two hands. Like, you've got to bring him down. And just like, there's no aggression. And that's what I recommend. And I think, and some of the they have a bye. And then some of the comments that Jalen had after the game, it seems like him and the coach are not on the same page. So that could be also a problem. And, everyone's kind of talked about Sirianni being a little bit soft and not really knowing what he's doing. And it's starting to show.
You kind of figured he was. Because you think about it. This team, what was their record last year? Well, they started, 10-1?
Yeah, they started
in
on fire.
In the fucking toilet. They finished in the fucking toilet. That's all you need to know. Like, you start smelling yourself, you start feeling yourself, and then you just get punched and punched and punched. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We're still in good. And then next thing you know, Vita Vea stops the tush push, and you don't know what the fuck to do. That's the equivalent of Mike Tyson looking for his mouthpiece. So you make the right decision. I'm going to go get a good running back. DeAndre Swift is here. He didn't do the job. Let me get somebody else. You get Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, who's doing his best impersonation of Saquon Barkley on the Giants. Maybe this is just who Saquon Barkley is. It's possible.
Which is fine. But you paid him.
Well,
so give him the ball. Let him do whatever's going to happen. Just let it happen.
He touched the ball 12 times. 10 carries for 84 yards and 2 catches.
Oh, that game was over.
2 catches for 32.
That game was over in the first quarter. That game was over in the first quarter. They were getting blown out. I want to say it was like 21-0. Stupid. Got stupid.
No, it's an absolute farce. Well, but Saquon should be used to this. He should used to being on the bench because his team is so far behind that they got to chuck it. So that's what they do. And some of the play calling decisions, boneheaded. They lost the game to the Falcons because they made a stupid fucking decision. You threw when a running play, an effective running play, wins you the game. You're coaching with your head up your ass, is what you're doing. And Sirianni has that fucking punchable face, and he's that smug attitude, and he reflects very much the attitude of this team. Attitude reflects leadership. CJ Gardner-Johnson was caught on a hot mic saying, "I'm gonna bring a belt to that ass." Well, who got belted, CJ? Who got fucking belted on Sunday? By Baker fucking Mayfield, who's looking legit. Like, Baker Mayfield looks like he's found his home. And they're doing it with Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. You know, they didn't even break 50 yards apiece.
I like Bucky Irving.
He's got potential, but 20 carries for 98 yards between the two of them. Dang, you get the job done, man. But it was enough. It was enough. Now, if you look at the Bucs compared to the Eagles, right now the Bucs are vastly superior. Godwin, you have Evans, Sterling Shepard caught a ball. Fucking Sterling Shepard caught 3 balls. Good for Sterling Shepard. I'm happy for him. He's he's trying to get back from when he was injured with the Giants. Good for Sterling Shepard. I mean, who's your number one right now if those guys are out? Jahan Dotson? John Ross? Paris Campbell caught your touchdown. I think Paris Campbell was on the Giants last year. Another guy. Grant Calcaterra. 1 catch for 28. Who the fuck is Grant Calcaterra? Who are these people?
Sounds like
Johnny Wilson dressed.
Who hired this group?
Who are these fucking people? So that says to me, who are these people? That means your best offensive threats have to be Saquon Barkley, Goddard is still healthy, and Jalen Hurts has to run the fucking ball and do the tush push. Like, I'm looking at this. Get me a position and then just shove me in the ass as hard as you can. Like that, that seemed to work. It got them to a Super Bowl. They oil checked him all the way to a fucking Super Bowl. So this falls on Sirianni. Yeah, I get that they brought in Kellen Moore, and Kellen Moore's some kind of genius. But Kellen Moore has not demonstrated he's a genius for a very long time. He's doing less with more. How is that possible? You're doing less with more. And Shane Steichen, I mean, that the offense wasn't that prolific, but it was better than this. So it makes you wonder, like, how impatient is Philly going to get? Because there's a certain fella that's available, and I could see multiple teams going after him. Cut him a blank check. You have full control. Make this what you will. That's one Mr. Bill Belichick. This is something that's not been available before. You're telling me Bill Belichick couldn't get this Eagles team functional? I think so. But he's going to be a hot commodity. So it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder how long, we talked about how long they're going to ride with Doug Peterson, how long they're going to ride with Trevor Lawrence, how they're going to ride with Jalen Hurts because he's not the problem. How long are you going to ride with Nick Sirianni? I don't know.
That's a very
Philly's going to get impatient. Like, you can only ride off the Philly forever, man. And that wasn't even him. Like, that was Doug Peterson. It was Doug Peterson and Nick fucking Foles. You're riding the coattails on somebody else's reputation. And at some point, you have to do something on your own. But that's, that doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon. Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much. With FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their graphic tees, hoodies, snapbacks, accessories, and more. Go to fckclout.com today and check out current season and past season merchandise for men and women. Get it while you can. That's fckclout.com. Check them out today. fckclout.com. But speaking of reputations and legacies, unfortunately there were 2 sports deaths this past weekend. Dikembe Mutombo, the amazing NBA center who played for multiple teams, died of a brain tumor, brain cancer. And Pete Rose, the hit king, passed away yesterday on the eve of the Major League postseason beginning at the age of 83. How will you remember these 2 larger-than-life athletes?
Well, I'm not old enough really to remember the good times for Pete Rose. I mean, I just know about his being banned from baseball in '89 and not admitting that he bet on baseball, and then finally in 2003 admitting that he did, and not really being apologetic or forgiving about it. But, I mean, he definitely was the hit king. He was Charlie Hustle, amazing baseball player that was flawed. And a lot of these guys are flawed. I'll remember Dikembe more. I just remember, I remember his voice. I remember, him being tall and really defending the rim. He was terrible foul shooter. And he played for a lot of different teams. But overall, I think he was a good guy. He was one of the good guys. Playing with Georgetown, playing with Alonzo Mourning, crazy to imagine those 2 guys were on the same team in college. And then he was always giving back to his country, great humanitarian, donating money and being always going to bat for the people in need from the Congo and from nations that needed financial support. So I have a definitely better remembrance of him.
Dikembe Mutombo was a philanthropist. He was a good man, hell of a basketball player. He was the driving force on the first 8th seed to knock off a 1 seed in the NBA playoffs when the Nuggets knocked off the Sonics in '94. You remember Mutombo for, like you said, the deep voice, the no, the finger wag, not today. He was a dominant defensive force, and that smile, he seemed to enjoy life. He seemed to enjoy everything that was going on around him. And, I suppose that was his lot in life, to become the bastion for people of Congo, to become that conduit so that he can help others. And, he is somebody who will live on forever, and there won't be a blemish on his life. There was no scandal. There was there was nothing negative to say about Dikembe Mutombo. But Pete Rose, on the other hand, the negative is there, but the negative is so well documented, right? What I find interesting about Pete Rose is that like, all of his negativity, all of his problems kind of underscored his insatiable desire for winning. So his greatest asset was also his biggest curse. His love for winning and wanting to be the best at what he did is ultimately what did him in, right? That was his Aristotelian tragic flaw. Like, that was something that kind of consumed him in the end. Now, on the field, legendary hitter. Not the best hitter of all time, but the most hits ever. So there's a distinction, right? Like, Pete Rose is a lot like Luis Arias today. Lots of singles, lots of hard hit, well placed balls. Hustled the fuck out of everything. Ran to first base on a walk, a la Brandon Nimmo. Today, in today's game, I don't think he'd get the respect that he does. He'd be considered like a Punch and Judy hitter, and they'd somehow try to diminish his accomplishments, much in the same way that they're trying to diminish Luis Arias' third consecutive batting title. So, an amazing baseball player. He had an insatiable desire to win, and you can tell that there is also an understanding of how to entertain and how to play the game. And he used his lifetime ban to his advantage. He was always relevant. He always stayed relevant, whether he was getting, tombstoned by Kane at WrestleMania or holding his own autograph signing during Hall of Fame weekend. Like, he was always able to kind of stay in the know and stay on people's radars and in people's memories. Because at the end of the day, all he wanted was to win. All he wanted was recognition. All he wanted was to be the best. You can't really fault a guy for wanting to be the best at what he does. Don't we all? Don't we all want to be the best at what we do? You want to be the best at your job. I want to be the best at my job. We want to have the best podcast there is out there. Like, that's just the nature of life. We want to do a good job. We want to do a good job. We want to be praised for doing a good job. But sometimes our demons take over, and sometimes our demons take advantage of us. And for Pete Rose, those are the demons that ultimately kind of took over. Now, I don't know if this will happen since it was a lifetime ban. I don't know if Major League Baseball will posthumously put him in. I don't know if that would be something that they would entertain. He's a flawed man, and the Hall of Fame is filled with flawed men. If you were Rob Manfred, would you posthumously put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame?
No.
No.
If you put him in, you have to put in everybody. You have to put in all the steroid guys. You got to put in the Black Sox. You got to put in everybody. It's the way it works, man. It's an all or nothing thing. You can't have some cheaters in and some cheaters not in. It's the first thing you see when you walk into a Major League Baseball locker room. No betting on baseball. And you bet on the game. It sucks. And there were times when he was given the opportunity to be contrite about it, admit it, apologize, and there was also a path for him to get into the Hall of Fame that he snickered at, and he didn't want to do. He didn't want to admit that he did it. He didn't want to go down to the minors to talk to young players about the dangers of gambling. And so now, that's what it is.
It's also very funny that we're talking about Pete Rose passing away in this day and age where Major League Baseball has gotten in bed with legalized gambling. They have their own partnership with legalized betting. I find it very interesting that this couldn't be reconciled. Absolutely what Pete Rose did was wrong for the time that he did it. But for Major League Baseball to simultaneously cast down on Pete Rose, but then also prop up like DraftKings and FanDuel is pretty fucking disingenuous. Or MGM, whatever. It's a little disingenuous because they stand to profit off of it. That's pretty messed up. But I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. If you let him in, you let everybody in. But if the Baseball Hall of Fame is a museum dedicated to the history of the game and the story of Major League Baseball, maybe that's something that needs to be said. Maybe it's a story that needs to be told. You know, and not every story is sunshine and rainbows. Right? There is darkness.
And there should be a different place for those guys.
Yeah.
Though. There should be a different place for that. You don't belong with the greatest players of all time that played the game right. Yeah, can't mention Pete Rose with Willie Mays. Can't mention A-Rod with Cal Ripken Jr. No. You can't mention Barry Bonds with Joe DiMaggio.
No.
I'm sorry, man. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, but that's how I am with all Hall of Fames. It's like you can't be talking about Joe Montana and Brett Favre in the same sentence. There are two completely different caliber of fucking quarterbacks. Yeah. We cannot be talking about it. Just doesn't work like that. And just a firm believer in it.
Yeah. I mean, it is very sad how this all ended when he had multiple opportunities and he thumbed his nose at it. He completely thumbed.
They gave him a path and he thumbed his nose at it.
He thumbed it.
I'll get in.
You know what?
He's like, I'll get in.
He seemed to be righting the ship too, because he was doing post-game baseball. He was doing the post-game show with A-Rod and Pete Rose and David Ortiz, and that seemed to be something that he was excelling at. And it seemed to me, at least, that he was finding his peace at some point. But now it's official. Now it's definitive. Like, as long as Pete Rose was alive, there's always that speculation. But unfortunately, I think the speculation passes along with him. So, rest in peace to both of them. But one gentleman will be remembered far more kindly. History will look far more kindly on a guy like Dikembe Mutombo than they will on Pete Rose. And that's unfortunate, but it's true.
Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. And if you're looking for delicious gourmet handcrafted brownies, then look no farther than Sweet Life Brownie Co. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave. From the classic OB, to Dutch Apple, to my personal favorite cookie jar, Red Velvet, and many more. Check out their Instagram at sweetlifebrownie_co for their Friday brownie drops. Every Friday at noon, you see what they're making. Or give them a call at 845-641-3043 and tell them a D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownie_co on Instagram, Sweet Life Brownie Co on Facebook, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co, because there's always room for a brownie.
When owning a home, it's important to have heating and cooling professional available when things go wrong. Air Care Technicians is a veteran-owned HVAC company servicing the Westchester area. They are licensed to service, repair, maintenance, and replace all HVAC units. If your unit is not running properly or you would like to improve the air quality in your home, contact Air Care Technicians for a free quote. They offer same-day and emergency services for all of your needs. You can reach them at 914-315-1547. Air Care Technicians, 914-315-1547.
Bullshit or no shit? We're going to debunk this week's most controversial topics right
All right, boys and girls, we have a statement, and it's either bullshit or no shit. So nice, we're doing it again. Let's do this. Another round, more. Let's shovel some more on there. Let's do it. Bullshit or no shit, number one. The Mets are better off playing the Brewers instead of the Padres.
Oh, no shit. You definitely don't want to be flying cross country to play those guys. You got Tatis Jr., you got Cronenworth. I know Darvish is off, but there's Joe Musgrove. Blake Snell is over there, right?
No, Snell's with the with the Giants.
John Snell's with the Giants. Yeah, you don't want any of those boys. Profar, oh, forget it. Nah. Play the Brewers.
Michael King.
That's way better.
Michael King doesn't do it for you?
Michael King's the problem. The problem right now.
I gotta say no shit as well from the travel standpoint. Absolutely. The familiarity that the Mets have with the Brewers, and that they're essentially the creation of the Mets' current GM. So if they know who and they know what to expect from the Brewers will run you to death. They play solid defense. They pitch well. All things, I mean, notwithstanding what happened today, but by all accounts, the Brewers will give you a better showing, a better account. But, I mean, the Padres, like you mentioned it, you know. You've got some pop there. You got Dylan Cease. You got King. You got some pitchers. That bullpen is not great. They reinforced it with Jason Adam. He's been okay. Tanner Scott's been okay. Suarez has been good, but the pitching is definitely a soft underbelly here. So if you're going to get him, I think that'll be how you get him. But you're looking at a roster that's got Machado, Luis Arias, who just won his third consecutive batting title, Bogarts, Jackson Merrill, who should get serious consideration for Rookie of the Year, even though Paul Skeens is probably going to win it. Profar, who had an all-star season. You know, the Padres are a tough out. They're absolutely a tough out. Even before, you know, Joe Musgrove greased his ears. They are a tough out. And they're going to give the Dodgers fits next round if they get past the Braves. But
when they get past the Braves,
more than likely they will, but that's why they play the games, right? That's baseball, Susan. Would it surprise you if somehow the Braves knocked off the Padres? It wouldn't surprise me, because this is what the new playoff format's telling us, that upsets happen. Right? Upsets happen. If not this round, the next round. So we will definitely see that. But the Brewers and the Mets, like, that was bound to happen. So I think it's no shit at this point. Bullshit or no shit. Number two, Sam Darnold will get revenge on the Jets this weekend.
Oh, no shit. Sam is out for blood. Sam, I believe, leads the league. Actually, I think Geno Smith and Sam Darnold lead the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So, yeah, I think he gets it. I think he gets that ass.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he's going to get revenge on them for making him the number 2 overall pick. Going to get revenge on giving him a starting job for 2 years and him fucking it up. But hey, no, you know, don't let the facts get in the way of the story. He was the problem. He didn't get the start. It was damn Sarnold who got the play, not him. So, you know, here's the problem with this narrative, and that's what it is. It's a narrative. At the end of the day, it devoids all personal accountability and responsibility. Right? The organization failed Sam Darnold. It goes both ways. They invested in him. He could have played better. they could have done more to help him. But true talent overcomes circumstance to make it better. And Sam Darnold did not do that with the Jets. He did not do that with the Panthers. He did it in short bursts with the Panthers, and then they figured him out. He didn't have the opportunity to do it with the Niners. He was there to make sure that Brock Purdy had the right color Gatorade. That's why he was there. He was there to learn under Kyle Shanahan and hopefully not get hurt. And it's paying off for him now. But Sam Darnold's a 7-year veteran. Like, I mean, come on. Let's kind of say it how it is. Geno Smith is a 12-year vet? He's 33 years old. Like, you would figure he fucking figured it out. You better fucking figure it out at some point, or this job isn't for you. Or you're Charlie Whitehurst and you're clipboard Jesus for your entire career. So, yeah, he's going to get his revenge because the Jets suck. He's going to get it. He's going to get it, and he's going to have so much of it, he's not going to know what to do with it. He's going to have to fill, like, duffel bags with it. But let's be real. Let's be friggin' real with it. They gave him an opportunity. He didn't maximize it. But he's not the first, and he won't be the last. He's just the latest. And we'll see if his buddy, in the ex-Jets doing well club, we'll see if they let Mr. Wilson in eventually. But as of right now, like, there is no doubt in my mind that Sam Darnold is going to get his. But that's really not him. Like, he can have a pedestrian game and he can still call it revenge. Because the Jets are just ass right now. And he's gonna get that ass on Sunday.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today and check out our releases in apparel, accessories, drinkware, and more. Ever wanted an Alleged Superstar t-shirt? We got those. You want some yoga pants? We got those too. And we're not done yet. We have a lot of exciting collaborations and new products on the way. But check out what we have now at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. Who's the best of the worst this week in sports? The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show and takes home the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week, D?
I don't.
That would be one Mr. CJ Abrams. Yeah, enjoy.
Oh, that guy.
Enjoy West Palm Beach, buddy. Enjoy West Palm Beach, buddy. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
All right, first up, I've got Davante Adams. Seems like a spoiled brat. You decided to go to the Raiders. Yeah, you were traded there, but you were okay with the trade. I don't want to hear about how you're beat up and this is football, man. And you decided to play for this team, and you got to make it work. And you're not right now. And now they're put you on the trading block, and all they want is a second-round pick for you. Davante Adams, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, I've got Coach Mike McDaniels, the only team in the NFL that has not led a game all season is the Miami Dolphins.
Wow.
Yikes. You got to figure it out, man. You got to figure it out. And last but not least, Robert Saleh. Now, Robert Saleh is blaming Aaron Rodgers' cadence on why There were so many offside penalties on Sunday. I don't know how this man keeps a job. I really, really don't. Robert Saleh, you are my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Z?
Oh my God. I don't know how Robert Saleh keeps his job either, but
Just want him to walk to the podium and say, we suck
it's
today.
not hard.
Why is that so
It's not
hard?
hard.
Why is it so hard? I did a bad job getting my team ready to play. We were out-coached. We were out...
Oh.
I suck. Just say these things. Yeah. Why? I respect you. I have no respect for you. I don't believe anything you say. Anything. Because then he tried to walk back it today with the cadence thing. Because Aaron was like, I'm going to keep doing it, so you better get your guys to stop jumping off sides.
Right. I mean, it's just dumb. But that's,
what a mess.
But that's the friggin' that's the nature of the beast with the New York Jets. I got to go with Breece Hall to start.
Yeah.
Absolutely pathetic, pedestrian. 10 attempts for 4 yards. He had more false starts than yards, dude. Like, that's crazy. Like, how's the Jet offense supposed to trust you when you can't even hold your friggin' position long enough for Rodgers to snap the ball? Like, how am I supposed to do that? How are we supposed to trust you? And when you've gotten there, like, you felt the contact, you turtle up and go to the ground. You were probably, in a lot of leagues, you're probably the number one running back taken. Big expectations.
Yeah. Yep.
If this is RB1, fuck. Breece, that's all you can say. Breece Hall, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2. Arizona Diamondbacks owner Ken Kendrick for saying the thing that didn't need to be said, that everybody kind of knew. But hey, you said it anyway. You signed Jordan Montgomery in late March. He didn't have a spring training. He pitched like crap this year. And Kendrick said, that's the worst friggin' signing of the year, and it's on me. Right. Accountability, I guess. I'm sure Mr. Montgomery would love to negotiate about coming back to the Diamondbacks. He already fired Scott Boras after this debacle, so I'm assuming that you will not be speaking with him. You're probably not going to get a Christmas card either. So, Ken Kendrick, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And then, last but not least, you went with Davante Adams. I gotta go with the Raiders. Like, how dysfunctional are you that now Davante Adams is on the damn trade block? Like, this is the business decision? This is the business decision. You sat Max Crosby. Max Crosby had never missed a game in his career until this Sunday. Davante Adams out. Got a hamstring pull in practice. I would like to see that. I would like to see the MRI on that. Is it a hamstring pull or is it a hamstring pull? Air quote, hamstring pull. So is that the business decision that Antonio Pierce was talking about? I don't want to fucking be here anymore. There you go. There it is. There's your business decision right there. Okay, well, now we're going to facilitate. What do you hope to get for Davante Adams? You have no leverage. What are you going to get? You want a second, that's great. I doubt you're going to get a second. You may get a conditional third. There's a greater chance that Hassan Reddick will get dealt before Davante Adams gets dealt. So, there's that. Like clockwork, Raiders gonna Raider. It doesn't matter who's in charge. Raiders are gonna fucking Raider. Las Vegas Raiders, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ. Go to our Instagram account at FadeRoute Podcast and vote and vote and vote and vote. And for our nominees.
You're better than that. Just do better. Just do better.
This has been The Fade Route with D&Z. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay fade, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, turn on subscription notifications, and share on social media. Tell your friends and spread the word.